Which side does the left part of you go on?
Well, we're on.
Test.
This is the test. This
Well,
is the
this
test.
is testing.
Testing.
This is the test.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And your hat should be up a little bit so we can see more. Yeah, thank
that?
you.
Can you stick this on session?
What if I put it on backwards?
Yeah.
Even better.
That's better.
That's even more official, right?
Definitely.
Office CL. Well, okay. So what's interesting about this time right now is that we're right at the 10-week mark.
Are we?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, and with this apprenticeship program that is emerging, right? We're cutting it into 10-week segments, at least at first, right? For anybody that new that comes on board, you know, that's the way it is with the city. It's a 10-week thing. But if we do have that again, we're going to have a 10-week, segment, and we need to set it up in such a way so that everybody knows that they've gotten something out of it. Right? Okay. So one of the first things that we have to do is we have to test your knowledge. All right. Well, let's do it. The first thing that, and the most important thing in window craft is the mechanical makeover. Okay? Why?
Windows got to function.
It's got to work properly, yes? Let's keep on going.
Got to fix that before you make it all pretty.
Okay. What does the mechanical makeover do? Besides make it work.
It also sets you up for the painting. And jump in, guys.
That's so that you can the windows can go up and down properly, and they can not bind up. They're properly in their tracks, and also they can be extracted easily and out.
Good point. How easily are you able to get them in and out now?
Super, like seconds.
Like in our sleep.
Like in your sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Did you start off with that ability? Could you, about yourself, confidently say that you have mastered the mechanical makeover?
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't. No, really, I got to do more practice.
You think so?
Yeah.
However, I have seen you multiple times take the sashes in and out of the opening. Has anybody else been witness to this? Has anybody seen Len take the window out of the opening?
I have.
Like with Zen power.
That power.
Zen?
Zones
Yeah.
out. He just does it. I think he does it so well he doesn't notice it.
Yeah. So, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, Len.
Well, I'm trying to get it under 3 hours.
Well,
That's fair
okay. Time aside, all right. Can you do it confidently?
Did you say confidently or competently?
Confidently
Definitely.
and competently. That's good.
Both. Both sides.
Could you go into somebody's house and confidently say, "I can get your window working again"?
Yes.
Yeah.
See? Okay, good. What tools are involved in the mechanical makeover?
Well,
I'm sorry.
hive bar,
Utility knife.
utility knife, possibly a zipper,
A
some duck
duckbill clamps.
Duck bill
clamps,
clamps. Pro scraper.
Right. What's the pro scraper
extra
for?
party beads.
Scrape off the
But why do you scrape off the old paint in a mechanical makeover?
to break the, I guess, where the different parts meet and stuff. You want to break that up so you don't damage one of these maybe, or maybe the stops. Kind of break that seal a little bit.
Okay.
We're also trying to get back to the original dimension of the windows and the tracks. That way everything can work properly.
But you also want to lay the groundwork for a new paint system. You got to remove the old paint that's going to fail when you do a new paint system.
Yes. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Okay? And you know what you guys are doing today is amazing, right? You're in there, you're tuning things up, you're touching things up, you're painting the frames, okay? How do you approach your mechanical makeover in light of what you're doing today?
You try to make sure you're really efficient, so your stops, you want to scrape the backside where the track is, and also sand everything where you're prepped for your paint, so you don't have to like redo something and touch it a fifth or sixth time, minimal times. Yeah.
So I guess, are there ways that we stripped that added work to our final finishing that we had to do?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
All right, and y'all know that now,
Oh, yeah.
right? So it changes the way that you're going to approach your mechanical makeovers in the future. All right, you can still be effective, but you're operating in a different way, right? It's not just a rough mechanical makeover. You've got foresight now into the end product that informs how you move through the movements, right? So as to not create more work than necessary. Right?
Necessary steps.
Or just to be efficient, you know.
No?
Like if someone didn't grab the corners, the paint build up in the corners when you're going to put your stop back in to fine tune it, well, that's in the way, and also the paint. So while we were there at the hive bar, just knock it out and scrape it off. So
You there?
be more thorough.
Yeah. Thorough. That's good. That's good.
Very thorough.
And if I can avoid gouging something or putting in an extra hole that doesn't need to be there, then I don't have to come back and spackle it later. It's going to save me time. It's going to save me dry time on the paint job too. All those things that I thought nobody would see, somebody's going to see in the later process.
Yeah, the things that you thought nobody would see. You know. Well, okay. Okay. Shifting gears. What is the line of sight principle?
That's everything the customer is going to see. 'Cause ideally, they want to look through the windows, not at the windows. However, where the handle is on the bottom, the pull, the light at the median rail, like where they are most likely to look and notice, and the stool. That's where everyone's touching and looking.
Yeah. Are they looking on the outside up there?
No.
You know,
Probably.
probably
I mean,
not. You know, I think one of the terms that I haven't used a lot, probably not enough, is this idea of blending. Another blending. Have I used that with you guys a lot?
Yeah.
A little.
I think you mentioned, was it primer was a blender, or there was another word you used?
Well, primer does help to blend things.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that I think one of the movements that we'll work on moving forward is the way that we use primer to blend, right? Because in some cases, when we primed, it was just a shallow application of the primer, almost to say, oh, we did it and we checked it off the list, right? However, there is a way to use primer to really create a nice base to paint on, right? And it's how you apply it. And if you can apply it with knowledge, then, you know, you're giving yourself, you know, you're giving yourself a gift of workability, right? Because primer is naturally sandable, and you know, you might need to, you know, smooth things out, stuff like that. And the better you put your primer on, the better your overall finished surface is going to be. So anyway, another term that I don't think I used enough, I may have said it once or twice in a lesson somewhere, but is the term modest. modest, and how modesty applies to the window. Because if you understand what the true definition of the word modesty is, okay, what modesty is, at its root, is the idea of attracting undue attention to itself. You know, so like if I was here and I had a tie with fluorescent lights going around like this, it would be very distracting, right? You know, and so in a way that can be considered immodest, right? And so part of our blemish control that we engage in is in light of modesty, because we don't want something that's going to attract undue attention to itself. We want it to blend in. See that? Right? You know, are there going to be blemishes? Sure. Are there going to be flaws? Of course. It's 100 years old. But is it immodest? You know, does it blend in? You know, all these are types of judgment questions that you learn to, you know, incorporate and you know, kind of, become tools at your disposal so that, you know, you can do the highest quality work in the most efficient manner possible. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I know I didn't say much about that, but that's something that we're going to learn and kind of focus a lot on in the future, even if it's unspoken. You know, you don't have to have the word as long as you do it, right?
Is that more typical of certain finish levels than others?
Yeah. That's
I think it applies all. It should apply all over. Like if we're doing a level 3 finish where we have, you know, blemishes showing and whatnot, like some old blemishes or the wood grain that's heavy or something. I mean, that's all right. But we want to maybe, of course, hide our nail holes and things like that are unnatural blemishes or unnatural to the wood textures and such.
well, they attract undue attention to themselves.
Right, they're random and they're odd. But like say a heavy grain or where the wood checked for a minute and came back together. I mean, it's a different one altogether.
Yeah, one of the things I would say also in that same idea is you want the work when it's done, you want your presence to be somewhat invisible, right? You don't want to leave tracks behind to give indication as to how this magic happened. You know, so if you've got like a saw mark that shows, or a hammer ding, or something that's right out there in the open that kind of tells on you. You know what I'm saying? You need certain things to disappear so as the work remains a mystery. And because if somebody can look at the work and say, oh, this is how they did that, you know, or this is where they could have done better, or, you know, something like that, you know, that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking about dirt on our ropes, you know, dirty fingerprints on that, fingers in the glazing, obviously. Hopefully they'll never see that on the outside, but the toothpick shadow lines. Yeah, that's really where I want to go back, especially a level 5 finish. We're not going to do that.
Line of sight, another area of line of sight that I think you guys were aware of, it's kind of unspoken, was the front porch.
Yeah.
See, the front porch is another area of line of sight where this is a place where we're all sitting, and we might, you know, be in a rocking chair, the swinging thing, or whatever.
Then you are looking up around the corner in the back.
Right, and so
Everything has to be.
you know, so you have to be aware, you know, of these lines of sight.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the glazing on the front porch.
Well, but see, if you're on the front porch, then, like, say you have fingerprints in the glazing, it's up here in the 3rd story, right? That's different than fingerprints on the glazing on the porch, right? Where it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of funny, you know. Okay, the mechanical makeover. Let's talk about the sash makeover. We kind of started touching on it a little bit in the blending, right? Okay. is confident in cutting glass? You all confident? Len, are you confident?
Nope.
No?
I've only cut
Probably
it
not.
straight once.
Didn't do it once this year.
You didn't do it once?
Not even once.
Really?
Yes, and I should practice. I like to cut glass different ways. I like to break it. I can practice at home this weekend. Cutting glass.
I did not realize you had not cut glass.
I did a couple times at Justin's shop. I've tried it at home, but I haven't tried your method yet.
What is my method?
Don't film me.
No, this is what it's.
I remember it's you hold your arm still and you move back and you look under the blade so you can see the little wheel. You start it and you get that crunchy sound. You hold the glass cutter straight up and then you just move back. Hold it very still. Draw a straight line. I know, straight line, straight line. Put the glass over the sash and you can see where you need to cut, because the great thing about glass is you can see through it. So you don't need to draw a line where to cut. Follow the margins.
So you've been in my lesson. If you said that, that's like verbatim. You know, Steve Quillian. You know, why do you need to draw a line when you can see the line right through it?
Right.
You know? So, you know, but the point is, I think the point you're making is cutting glass for the person engaged in window craft. It's absolutely essential, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I found it so interesting that you actually preferred, in the end, buying the 30 by 30 glass, because then we could definitely cut it to the right size, because sometimes the 28 by 28s didn't quite fit. But cut it yourself, you know it's going to fit.
You know it's going to fit. You know it's going to fit. What brand of glazing do we use?
Sarko, type in.
Why?
It's
2
the best.
days to paint.
2 days. So what 2 days are my most optimal days to finish your glazing?
Well,
Days of the week.
ideally Thursday, Friday, but then you have the weekend for it to set and cure, and Monday you can start painting.
Right. But if you have, say, a 5-window job and you're trying to complete it in 5 days, Tuesday's the day.
Everything has to be glazed.
That's done Monday.
Everything's got to be glazed by Tuesday, right? Because you have to have that 2-day wait time. And you can finish, you can paint on Friday and be done. Collect your money, go home. You know what I'm saying?
So get sashes extracted and reglazed, made over. Those other 2 days we can do mechanical makeovers, etc. And then bam, come back and meet with the painting and done.
All right. So how does that affect your sequencing?
Yeah, changes a little bit.
Is it okay to change your sequencing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, but try not to go backwards if you don't.
Try to sequence back.
Don't go backwards.
Right. Okay. Well, see, and I think it's important because in the beginning, what do you learn? You learn a movement, right? And then you learn another movement, and then you learn to put those two movements in a sequence, right? And then that sequence of movements then is connected to another sequence of movements. Okay? So like a mechanical makeover is a sequence of movements. There's a lot of movements there. Glazing a sash, a lot of movements there. Okay? Frame restoration, a lot of movements there. And, you know, a 20-window job, the sequencing might be different than a 5-window job.
True.
And you have to be okay with that. You have to be far enough along, you know, in your thinking to know and to understand that, okay, I'm going to resequence things and see how it works. You know, so, was there, okay, in sash restoration here on this job, was there an occasion where we subtly changed the sequence of operations in our sash restoration?
Can you ask that again? Because that truck was just obliterating your sound.
It did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Was there a case in our sash restoration and our sash refinishing where we subtly changed the sequence a little bit to accommodate our needs?
Are you looking at me for a reason?
I'm just looking. You're in my natural line of sight.
Yeah, we incorporated the paint shaver. We started using the paint shaver partway through,
Okay.
just to facilitate some speed and some little different method
Okay.
to save our arms from scraping so much.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was when we sort of shifted over to kind of an assembly line method, a little bit, where instead of each person taking one sash or one window to focus on, the whole team just tackled one step at a time from, the whole group of sashes. That was an interesting change up in the procedure.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Actually, that's another good example, but it wasn't what I was thinking of. I was thinking of something just even more subtle and simple than that.
Give us a hint.
Well, there was a time, like sometimes we needed to, ideally what we want to do is we want to paint, if we're going to paint the glazing, we want to paint it all at once, right? With the flats and all that kind of stuff, and the underside of the meeting rail and the top sash and that kind of stuff. But say sometimes you have to change out a piece of glass, right?
Right.
Okay. Is it okay to paint the glazing later?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Frame restoration.
Yeah, it's going.
And we're back from commercial break.
Brought to you by Window World.
All right. Frame restoration is kind of it's kind of covered. It's kind of covered in that mechanical makeover. Some of the techniques that you use with sash restoration are involved in there. What are the tools of frame restoration that you found helpful?
Frankly, I loved the clamping method of pulling the frame back in together. I was so excited to learn that. So that you've got the exterior stop is now in tight where it should be, so that the upper sash doesn't rattle.
Oh.
That was revelatory. I never knew how you would fix that.
So that leads to a question. This is a technical question on a residential application, like we are in this case here. What is the optimal width of the track for the top sash?
1 5/8. Is 1 3/8 is for the sash, so therefore it is. I got to get to my
1 3/8
16th.
is the size of the sash, the width of the thickness of the sash.
Right, so you've got to be 1 and not 5/8. I'm freezing under pressure. It's
We'll
like
cut
the
it out.
Jeopardy. I know it's got to be 1/16 more, so I'm trying to convert my fractions, right? Right. So if it was 1 3/8 for the sash width, right?
Sash.
So
Right,
that's right. So that's 6/16. So therefore it's 7/16 for the track width.
Yes.
Sorry, I panicked under
Yes.
I was like,
Absolutely. That's optimal. All right. Now I will ask you this: are all of our tracks 1 7/16?
pressure. I doubt it.
Probably not. That's why I use the word optimal.
Yes.
Optimally. That's what we're trying to go for, right? And that's what that clamp is for. Okay. Here's another frame question. As a general rule, what is the slope of the sill to the outside?
10 degrees.
10 degrees. 10
Nice.
degrees. What is the dimension of a typical parting beam?
half inch.
Half inch in depth, but is inch wide.
He's got the answer.
Huh? You got the answer. Maybe.
And it's not 3/4.
We'll cut to a commercial. Okay.
We'll cut to it. It's a 1/2 inch, yeah.
1/2 inch.
But it's not because a half
I guess 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch and 3/4 because it goes in a 1/4 inch. It should stick out a 1/2 inch, just like the blind stop. So that way they're all even.
Yes, that's
So
exactly the answer.
half by
Wait,
three-
wait, wait. Say that again?
1/2 by 3/4
Okay.
because that way the groove it goes into is a 1/4 inch deep.
Okay.
So
The data.
that leaves
Right.
1/2 inch sticking out.
The reveal.
The blind stop is revealed 1/2 inch.
Okay.
And our stop is also 1/2 inch thick.
Right. Why can't I get a 1/2 inch chisel into the dado?
You need it slightly smaller.
Well,
Why?
well, see, here's the thing is, okay, and this is one of those little micro skills you inherit as you go, is that not all 1/2 inch is a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a small 1/2 inch. Sometimes it's a large 1/2 inch. Right? You know, and sometimes that 1/2 inch is shrunk because paint has gotten into the dado.
True.
You know, and sometimes the 1/2 inch of your parting bead grows because somebody paints it too thick, right? Or paints it at all. You know, and so, you know, your 1/2 inch is, it's a variable 1/2 inch. You know, it might be a big, it might be a little 1/2 inch. Like downstairs in Pat's room, it's a large 7/16, right? So it's a little on the skinny side, right? But you still call it a 1/2 inch because you look at it, it looks like a 1/2 inch. You know, so I don't think I asked you guys this question, but what is the name of the profile of the window stop that we're currently using?
Window stop.
Window stop.
It's not OG, is it?
Nope.
It's got a bull nose, but it's got
It's
a
bull nose. Bull nose. It's bull nose.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Cool.
So
What?
3/8 bull nose on a 1/2 inch thick strip.
Actually, it's supposed to be a 7/16 inch bull nose.
So
But see, that's part of the problem with modern tooling. Is if you're going to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, sorry you corporate stores, all they'll sell you is a 3/8 bull nose, and it's wrong. It looks wrong in comparison to the 7/16 inch bull nose, which is right. Ta-da!
So 1/16 of an inch makes
Dude,
that big a difference.
it makes a huge difference, aesthetically
Really?
speaking.
Yeah.
Aesthetically speaking, and that's part of the lesson, is that the shadow banning of our trade is part of it is that they don't give you anything to really help you accomplish what you really want to accomplish in an old house like this. You got to do it on your own. You got to source stuff like that on your own. Anyway, well, you know, I must say that we come to this point, and I have to say that everybody has done extremely well and has passed the test. So, and what happens now, and what will happen in the future as we get apprentices in the future is there needs to be a time where somebody achieving something is acknowledged, and they're validated for how far they've come and what they've learned. Okay, and so